Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So we're gonna do another episode. This is episode 3 of Judge Judy, what I call her red pill moments. This is where she's actually advocating for fathers and men in her courtroom, which is pretty rare for anything on daytime television. But before we do that, guys, please remember to like, subscribe, drop a comment. It really helps to keep this channel going. So let's just jump into this, guys.
Thank you.
Did you take any of this money from him?
Yes, I have a child. We have a child to take care of. I mean, he should have been helping all this time.
I understand from him, Ms. Hammond, that the court set a support order that he's been consistent in paying of $90 a week. Is that false?
Yeah, he has been paying $90 a week. They take it out of his check.
That's his legal obligation fixed by the court for him to pay.
So he shouldn't have to help out in any other type of way, Your Honor?
Nope.
Shh. That's what I'm telling you, madam. That's what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is the court has fixed his child support obligation. He is under absolutely no legal, ethical, or moral responsibility to take care of you
in
any way.
Take care of
Just a second. You in any way. And if you and your daughter share an apartment, and if you're running short on the rent, and if he picks up the rent or sends you money to help with the rent, then he is in fact helping to take care of you. That's a nice thing for him to do, but not a legal, moral, or ethical responsibility for him to take care of. That's what I'm telling you. And so it would be important, Mr. Cervantes, for if I were a family court judge listening to an application for an upward modification of child support, it would be important for me to know that you're not a deadbeat, that you've been paying your child support order, and in addition, when pressed and there was a certain desperation, you helped out. That's all. Somehow Miss Hammond seems to think that you have a responsibility that exceeds that. He does if you say to him, Miss Hammond, your daughter needs a new gym outfit. Your daughter has a science project, and in order for her to do that, we need $150. And if he says, great, I'll send that to you for her, in addition to the $90 a week that I'm court ordered to send, that's fine. But he is under absolutely no obligation to take care of you.
I never said that he was, Your Honor, but he was also partly living in my house, staying the night and all that. So he should have to help out with the bills if he's going to be there.
There you go. She didn't listen to a word Judge Judy said, and look at the look on her face.
He wants to come and pick up his daughter instead of driving back down the hill to come down at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I let him stay for a few hours. He should have to help. I'm just supposed to let him live in my house, or just let him be around and do whatever he wants to do, eating my food, running up my light bill?
Just a second. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
She just ignores her and turns to the dad. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Are we done?
Be quiet.
Because if you had not brought...
So yeah, entitlement, guys. Entitlement. All that guy was required to do is pay his $90 a week or whatever, and then anything else is extra. So she was getting the child support, which it's court ordered, which he was paying, and then she had the nerve to say, oh, well, he should be giving me more and this and that, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. What a joke.
Your daughter to school on Thursday. After this hearing on your application for an order of protection, I would have awarded Mr. Aragon the $5,000 that he's asking for. Now I'm going to award him $2,500 because the route that you took in order to satisfy yourself was the wrong one. It was the same kind of route that you took in 2010, which was, she's my daughter. I get to say what goes on with her without involving a neutral arbitrator. Do you understand? You can't do that. Child has two parents. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say, there's no question that my daughter is not at risk. Because if she was at risk, she would have been at a doctor's office Monday morning.
Facts. And there you go. That's why so many men give up the fight to see their children, or now you have more men just giving up, keeping their veins cold. Shout out to Mr. Palmer, where, what? If this woman's going to act like the barrier for me to see my kid, you know what? It's just better off to walk away.
She's not at risk, and she lived with her father for 1.5 years when she was a baby, and then you disappeared with her because you wanted to. And then when you were questioning her, which is what you probably do when she comes back from her father's house, and you got either a story or a non-story, whatever it was, you chose not to call Child Protective Services and say my child's being neglected. You chose not to go back to the family court. You chose to go the route of getting an ex parte protective order, probably with some advice from somebody. I'm not sure who. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're done.
$2,500, man. The guy got $2,500.
I don't have the jurisdiction to order visitation. Do you understand?
Yes.
All I can do is tell you this. You have a son together? Do you have a son together?
Yes. Yes, sir.
How old is that child?
10 months.
You left in August?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you work? Did you work?
Yes.
Of course she doesn't work.
I was working.
Did you work?
Yes.
Did Mr. Benson work?
Yes.
Did you work the same hours?
No.
When you worked, who took care of the baby?
I only worked on Saturday. At the time, him.
Eventually, he's going to have visitation with his son. And a judge will...
Look at that face, guys. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at her face when she said eventually he will have visitation. She wants to keep this kid from this guy by any means necessary. Just the idea of him seeing his kids. Look at his kid. Look at this.
At the time, him.
Eventually, he's going to have visitation with his son. And a judge will order that he have visitation with his son. And when it was convenient for you, when you wanted to work, you found nothing inappropriate about his behavior.
Right.
So that you left an infant with his father to take care of. So eventually, Mr. Benson is going to be smart enough to either retain a lawyer or himself say that to the judge. Till she left, she worked on Saturdays, and I took care of my son. She left me in charge of my son. So it's going to be a very hard uphill battle for you to say he can't see him now because now he's dangerous. Now that it's no longer convenient for you. If you don't get along with him anymore, that's your business.
Right.
If he doesn't get along with you, that's his business. But the two of you made a child together, and his child has two parents. And both parents are entitled to be in that child's life. And it is inappropriate for one parent to deprive another parent. Put your hand down.
And that's probably her sister or her auntie or her someone who's probably sticking her nose where it don't belong.
To deprive another parent and to deprive a child of the input of the second parent because they don't get along anymore. And whether it was an acrimonious departure or whether it was a happy departure is not relevant. Not relevant. Your son has a right to have the input of both parents. And you picked him. Okay. Your case is this.
Dang. So she told her, and that guy, he's a knucklehead for not lawyering up earlier, right? I mean, it sounds like he didn't even consult a lawyer. Now, there are guys who say, you know what, I'm not going to even fight after the lawyer tells them the real deal, but he didn't even, attempt to lawyer up, you know?
Dismissed. You have no claim against him. Zero. Nothing. Nada. Very sad. Very, very sad. Did the courts in Connecticut assign a lawyer to you?
I haven't had one yet, no.
Your Honor,
What?
the facts of the case are wrong.
Judge, listen to me.
Look, man, that's a rough looking woman too, man. Okay. Oh, man.
These are the basic facts of the case, Ms. Minacci. Basic. That at least going as far back as 2014, he says before, these two children lived with their father and an aunt.
They only lived with the father and the aunt for a couple of months.
No, that's not what she said. She said that they lived
They
with
lived
their
with
father.
him, but he
Oh.
just moved to Connecticut and stayed with his aunt.
Oh, well, I don't care. But they lived with their father, not with their mother.
And they lived. They came to our house in 2015. Not 16.
Step grandmother to the children? So what is she even doing there?
So they lived with us for over a year. Carmela and Stephen and me, my husband, and the kids.
They lived with you for over a year while they were drug involved?
No, they were not drug involved at that time. I would not have that in my house.
That was 2016, Your Honor.
They had moved out April of last year.
Listen to me. Your case is dismissed. We're done. This is a family court matter, and somebody should take very, very close look at who is going to be the most appropriate parent to raise these two little boys who are 8 and 10 years old and probably shouldn't be separated. It sounds to me as if most of their lives they lived with their father, who I see visually actually no evidence of drug involvement.
Yikes. She said, y'all, you guys look like crackheads over there, and he doesn't.
I can't say the same on this side.
Well,
We're done. You filed for divorce, is that right?
Yes, I did.
You were the plaintiff. The grounds were irreconcilable differences.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
When you filed the complaint for irreconcilable differences, you listed 2 children. Is that right?
Yes.
2 girls.
Yes.
You asked for child support for both girls, correct?
Yes.
Good. Now, if you sense a certain harshness in my tone, it's because unless I was reading incorrectly in your answer, you say that 5 years ago, when your daughter was 6 years old, you had a talk with her, and you told her that there was a chance that he wasn't her father.
Yes.
What? So she told her that your daddy ain't your daddy, man.
And you did that because I don't believe in keeping secrets from my kids.
Yes.
You're a moron. You are a moron. You are an example of why people should have to take tests before they're allowed to have children. Before you have a discussion with a child and tell a 6-year-old child that there is a chance that she's a... You have a paternity test. If you have a question, then you know. You don't tell her first because you feel as if you have to get it off your chest that you were messing around.
He was messing around first, Your Honor.
Who cares? He didn't become pregnant. As far as I know, that's not a possibility yet. I want to tell you something. If I were the family court judge, not a mediator, but if I were the family court judge who was deciding visitation with your children, you, sir, would see your children under a supervised visitation arrangement only. And I am a very serious proponent of fathers having as unrestricted quality time, if they are not the custodial parents of children, as is possible, because I always believe that that's in a child's best interest, to have the love and companionship of both biological parents. It's always been my view. I'm a serious proponent of that, but not, sir, when you live with this kind of witch. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Whatever counterclaim there is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Man, Judge Judy's not playing, you guys. So, I mean, like she said, she's a proponent of children having a relationship with both parents. I mean, she's had this stance for a long time. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know how you guys have fared in paternity court, because, you know, I know that it's tough for guys out there. All right, you guys, this is AJ. Appreciate you. I'm out of here.